Hey there, it's Pete with GCI Turf. Hope you're having a great day today. I want to welcome you out here to my, I think somebody called it a GCI seed lab, which that's pretty cool. What we've got is 16 individual plots. So I think they're 121 square foot a piece, I believe. It's a 44 by 44 area. Each block is 11 by 11, so I think that's 121. So you can see it's coming in pretty good. The fescues are doing really well. The ryegrass, obviously, that come in first and is thickening up the quickest. That's kind of a trait of rye. It's a super fast germinator and just grows in really quick. Fescue, pretty kind of the same, maybe a little bit slower. And then obviously the famous Kentucky bluegrass. It's that, what they call it, sprout and pout. And it's just kind of slow at times, but I had a problem. That problem was we had two, I'm not going to call it downpours of rain. One was from the hurricane, and the other was just a rainy day, and we really didn't get any heavy downpours. It was a slow soaking rain, but it was a whole lot of it. So what happened out here was some of the seed kind of puddled up and kind of, you know how the seed will kind of wash down and build up against each other, and sometimes you got a little windrow of piled up grass seed from the rain. That's simple to fix. Before it germinates, okay? You need to make sure you do that before it germinates. Take you a leaf rake or that groundskeeper 2 rake. Just kind of rake the seed back out, scatter it back out. Then look to see if you got any naked areas and put you a little more seed down. Now I need to apologize because I got a little cocky and a little arrogant in my own mind, and when I did this job I put the seed down on bare dirt, and it was loose, good and loose bare dirt. I didn't do nothing else, and I just kind of took that for granted, and I should have covered it with something. So what I'm doing out here today is going back and I'm lightly aerating it with a little raking type tool. Then I went back and put a little light dusting of seed. Now I've got all this documented, which variety is which. A lot of these are mono stands and some are blends that I put together. And so I know which one each one is. And I went back and put that seed, the correct seed, in the correct plot and just put a light dusting on it. And then I've done something a little different. You know, that potting mix, it's got that, what is that stuff called? Perlite. It's that little white looking stuff that helps hold water, and you know, potting mix is good for water retention anyway. And the problem with it is it's super expensive. I mean, one bag, it's like 15 bucks, and it doesn't go a long way. So I took 1 bag of peat moss to 1 bag of potting mix, put them in my wheelbarrow, mixed them up really, really good, and used the peat moss is sort of like a carrier for the potting mix. Now again, I went with potting mix this time simply because it holds moisture good. It's fine and fluffy and airy, and it'll spread out really nice. Not quite the consistency of peat moss, a little bit more damp, but when you mix the two together, it actually spreads out really nice. You can see the difference in color as I run out of the potting mix. I didn't buy but 3 bags of it because it's so expensive. So some of them have just peat moss on them, and this one right here where it's a little bit darker, and the one I'm standing on, they actually have the peat moss and the potting mix mixed together. So you can see right here, for the most part, it's coming in pretty good. And as you look up, you can see little spots here and there, and a lot of that's got grass coming up in it. It's just kind of thin. As soon as I see germination on the new seed, this first round of stuff should be about ready to mow. I'm gonna reel mow it, obviously, with a little push reel mower, and keep it cut down real low, and that way I can minimize my traffic on it without a heavy mower and that kind of thing. And so that's what I'll do. And then, I don't know, I was probably looking about 2 to 3 weeks from now, 2 weeks maybe, I'll probably do my first mow out here. The ryegrass over there, it's actually ready to mow. And look at this, this is crazy right here. This is why I love doing this. Both of these two right here in the top 2 corners, they're ryegrass. And look at how much darker green that one is. Isn't that amazing how much darker green that is? And look, you can see right here where it washed. See how super dense and thick it is right here, and along that edge there's a slight bit of a slope, so it didn't wash much, it just washed just a little bit. You can see it hung up right here, and that's why this side's really thick and this side isn't. But that's all right, I got some more seed down that'll come up pretty quick. This one right here, that can come up pretty good, and I ain't going to tell you right now, I'm not digging that one. From the start, not digging that one at all. The GCI turf type tall fescue, I've already mowed it, and you can see it's coming up really nice. Got a few little thin spots right through here. That was existing grass that I scalped down, so that's not looking all that great. That'll pop back to life. You see back here, this is that mono stand of fescue. I've mowed it one time. It's amazing when you mow it the first time and you come out a day or two later and it's already beginning to thicken up. And here's some of the fescues right through here. Here's the Midwest. You can see the same thing. If you look around the outside edge of it, that's kind of where the seed kind of washed just a little bit down there. I mean, we didn't have gully washing rain where it didn't move it tremendously. I don't even think it moved it out of the box. It just kind of slid it over a little bit. And so I just kind of redistributed it, put the holes back in the ground, and put a little bit more seed on it. This one right here, this bluegrass right here, whichever variety it is, I got it wrote down. It's super slow. Holy cow, that bark right there is really slow. Here's some of the other fescues right here. Again, same thing happened with that one. You can see how all the thick fescues right around the edge and kind of right in the center where the seed moved a little bit, it's not quite as thick. And the test plot looking good out there in the open, where I didn't do any driving with my truck, obviously. It's looking much better than this, but you can see I've got a boatload of green. I mean, it's baby grass everywhere through here, so I'll probably push mow this outside band right here, and probably one day this week I'll probably mow that with a walk behind it. It's pretty close to getting ready. And while I was at it, I went ahead and put down a little light dose of another starter fertilizer for that new seed, and it'll actually kind of encourage the grass that's already here to grow a little bit. It's something new and something different I'm playing around with. I just want to see how the turf reacts to it. So we'll keep an eye on this, and weather's kind of cooling down. I get asked a lot when's the latest I can seed. Right now we're about September 27th, I believe. North Carolina, weather's still nice and mild. Prime time in our business. We have right about 100 acres left to seed, so we'll be seeding for the next couple of weeks at least. So what happens is the process, the overall process from start to finish basically slows down. It doesn't stop, it just slows down. Again, aerating seeding, grass seed germination has nothing to do with the calendar, nothing. Has everything to do with the actual weather that you're dealing with in your area. So if you look at your weather and you've still got 2 to 3 weeks of mild weather, meaning anywhere from 50 to 80 degrees, that's what I call mild, then hey, you're good to go. I'm actually getting some emails and they're saying, hey, I seeded 5 days ago and I see all these posts about people getting germination in 5 days and I didn't get it and I'm doing everything right. It's okay. It's completely fine. It is weather dependent. When you get that 5 and 6 day germination, weather conditions need to be ideal, okay? When you lose some heat and temperatures start to drop, then that means weather isn't ideal, but it's still good enough to seed. How do I know that? Because I've been doing it for 15 years. I know it's good enough to seed. And we have 100 acres left, so we're going to be seeding up until about the 3rd week of October, and I'm not the least bit concerned about the results I get because they're going to be good. No, they're not going to get that instantaneous, in 2 weeks the grass is up and rocking and rolling and you're mowing again. Not going to happen. It will require patience. It'll be drawn out a little bit, but you got to remember, this is my personal opinion, I'm setting the yard up for next spring. Yeah, I want it to look good in the fall, but my main concern is next spring and next summer going into next year. And if that process is a little bit slower, I'm okay with it. I know some of you can't tolerate that, and that's on you. But I'm more of a patient guy. I can wait on it and let that process, which is going to be a little bit longer, play out. So be sure and like, subscribe, and share, and tell all your buddies, and we will follow this. Again, I'm going to show it to y'all the next year. The mowing, the treatments on it, the fertilizer, the whole 9 yards. And while I got you, I want to share something with you. And it kind of brought back memories when this was about 8 or 10 years ago. I was sitting on the couch and my wife come up to me. My wife was a nurse and she was working in the healthcare system, and she come up to me and she sat down and she said, "Pete, I want to quit my job." And when my wife told me that, I kind of wish I could have seen my reaction, but she made me aware of it. But I basically laughed at her. And the reason I laughed at her is because she had full benefits, full retirement. She was making $65,000 a year as a nurse. And that was kind of our, I'm not going to say she was a breadwinner, but she was bringing in a considerable amount of money for our home. And to take that amount of money away from us and be solely dependent on what I do for a living, whew, man, I'm telling you, I was scared to death and nervous. But she said, "Hey, at least do this. I want you to pray about it." So I started praying about it. She'd been praying about it. And about 2 weeks after that, she put in her notice and quit. And we haven't looked back. God has provided every single last thing that we ever needed, even without that $65,000 that she made a year. And see, now that we've been going and everything's been rocking and rolling, Tammy, she's full-time in the business now, and she does a lot of the admin stuff, a lot of the online, the shipping stuff for the online business. So man, I'm telling you, without her being in the position she's in now, there's absolutely no way possible we could do this. I went to Tammy the other day and I said, "Look, I want you to pray about something. You remember you asked me to pray, now I want you to pray." And I said, I want to go full-time YouTube, online, whatever you want to call it. And she kind of looked at me weird. She said, "You sure about that?" Because there's a lot that I do in the local company to keep things running from a management standpoint. Things we got going on online, the YouTube, the website, social media. I kind of had to make a choice. Okay, that's basically what I'm getting at. I had to figure out, hey, do I want to pursue this online thing and go full steam ahead, or do I want to back off? And the reason for that is my normal work day, Monday through Friday, looks like I go into work, my local company. I'm there for about 8 to 9, 10, 11 hours some days, depending on what we're doing. When I get home, I go straight to the computer. And I'm there until midnight, sometimes 1 o'clock in the morning, doing the online stuff. And that's number one, it's not fair to my family. It is absolutely not fair to my wife and my kids. It's not fair to me, because I'm losing that valuable and precious time that I preach to you about. It's so important. I'm the one who's actually losing it. So that's kind of what made me come up with this whole decision. So starting now, October, beginning of October, end of September, I think it's September 20 something, and about first of the year, January, we will have kind of made this transition a permanent transition. Everything right now is blanketed under my local company, and we're going to separate the companies, the GCI Turf Academy and the local GCI Turf Services. They will become two separate incorporations. Starting January 1st, I'll probably be a full-time employee of GCI Turf Academy, which will be its own company. So that means I'll be employed by you. So I'm pretty excited about that. I'm looking forward to it. We're working very hard and very diligently in putting the right people in place here locally, which means some of the folks I've got working for me now, they'll be moving up to a more of a manager type role, overseer type role, to where I can kind of step back from the local company, not necessarily leave it. I'm still going to be involved. It's still my company, so I'll still be involved with that. It's going to allow me to work on the online business and build it and grow it out in a similar fashion to the way I've grown my local company. So it's pretty exciting, a little bit spooky, a little bit scary in a way. Anytime you step into something new, sometimes it can be a little the unknown can kind of spook you a little bit, but we're at peace. So as far as my employees goes, I talked it over with them this past Friday, kind of laid out the game plan for 2021, and they were very receptive. Right now we employ 13 people. That including myself, and thanks to you guys and your support, we're going to be hiring 4 new employees going into the new year. And as part of that, we're going to have a full-blown customer service center for you guys online. So that's going to be pretty cool, so we can help answer your questions and all that kind of thing. And I take this very seriously, okay? The simple fact that what we're doing online is going to create 4 new jobs here locally. I mean, what more can you ask for? What more can a self-employed entrepreneur ask for is to be able to support another family, another person financially through a job. And that's a big deal to me, and it's all because of you, and we absolutely appreciate it. So 2021, GCI Turf Academy is going to look totally different. Just a lot of brand new things that are going to be happening. Some ideas I've had for almost ever since I started this whole YouTube thing, and I'm ready to implement them and put them into action. So there you go. That's the big announcement. I'm stoked about it. Cannot wait to see what the future holds with me and my little GoPro here and YouTube and things like that. So like, subscribe, and share. Tell all your buddies. I'll check you later.